World's top scientists are giving the global economy just 12 years to complete a green revolution and avert climate disaster. Democrats in the United States have unveiled a detailed plan to get it done. It's called the Green New Deal. Now, the idea is it phases out fossil fuels over 10 years. It moves to 100% renewable energy. There'll be big investment in infrastructure and millions of new jobs. No mention of the costs. Estimates are it'll be $1 trillion. The US Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is one of the masterminds and says the private sector failed on climate change. Now massive government intervention is the only solution.
For 40 years, we tried to let the private sector take care of it. They said, we got this, we can do this. The forces of the market are going to force us to innovate, except for the fact that there's a little thing in economics called externalities. And what that means is that a corporation can dump pollution in the river and they don't have to pay for it, and taxpayers have to pay for cleaning up our air, cleaning up our water, and saving the planet. And so we've already been paying the costs, except we have not been getting any of the benefit. And so what we're here to say is that government is not just for cleaning up other people's mess, but it's also for building solutions in places where the private sector will not.
Get out your phones, cnn.com/join. This is one that affects us all deeply, long term. Should the government spend big to stop climate change? Private sector has an involvement, but fundamentally, is this really what the government should be doing? Yes or no? Straightforward. Yes or no? cnn.com/join on that particular issue. The Green New Deal follows a wave of activism by a group of millennials who call themselves Sunrise Movement. Bill Ware met the group's leader in Washington.
The problem is so big, it's hard to imagine. But America and the world's top scientists widely agree that we are running out of time. That mankind has as little as a dozen years to stop burning so much carbon and save life on Earth as we know it. But you'd never know it listening to the State of the Union.
The United States is now the #1 producer of oil and natural gas anywhere in the world.
We can do so much more. Take action on climate change.
And while Stacey Abrams' rebuttal only mentioned the end of the world in passing, a new generation of activists are now forcing the issue in the halls of Congress.
We brought 200 young people to tell Nancy Pelosi and Democratic leadership, we need you to step up. We need you to back something like a Green New Deal.
They call themselves the Sunrise Movement, and after dozens were arrested for occupying the offices of top Democrats, dozens of top Democrats are now singing their song.
I support a Green New Deal.
And when one of the Sunrise founders came back to Capitol Hill, instead of calling police, Senator Ed Markey gave her a ticket to the State of the Union. And he is drafting a Green New Deal resolution with Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
This nation is asking for action, and action now.
The original New Deal helped pull America out of the Great Depression with massive public works projects, dams and grids, and a civilian conservation corps over 2 million strong. But it also set up the modern welfare state. And so the Sunrisers are demanding not just clean power, but Medicare for all, resettlement funds, and climate-related jobs for the neediest population.
And so more than anything, I'm actually feeling heartened in this moment.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
You know, you're going to look out on that floor of lawmakers and think, oh no, if we have to wait for them to agree on something, we're doomed?
Probably, but we're not waiting on them. And we are actually building a movement that is going to be powerful enough to make something like a Green New Deal a political inevitability in this country.
But in an age of bitter division, they are calling for trillions in new spending and the kind of national unity not seen since the Apollo project. Ironic, since Cape Canaveral's moonshot launch pads are currently being fortified against sea level rise caused by climate change.
Jeffrey Sachs, our good friend. It's always good to have him with us, economist and professor, and directs the Centre for Sustainable Development at Columbia University. He is in Brussels tonight. Jeffrey, good to see you, sir. Thank you. The resolution recognising the duty of the federal government to create a Green New Deal. It's highfalutin, it's high-sounding, it's got good intentions, but it's going nowhere.
Well, it is going to be put into reality, actually. Yesterday I was in Washington, today in Brussels. In both places, here at the capital of the European Union, same discussion. We have to move to a renewable energy-based economy, and we have to do it quickly. We have to do it because we're facing disasters of mega forest fires and rising sea levels and unprecedented droughts and floods and hurricanes. And so we actually have to do this. And it is going to get done. The interesting thing, Richard, is the American people have been saying for years, we don't want more fossil fuels, we want renewable energy. And now, finally, some politicians who aren't in the pocket of the oil companies are saying, yes, that's what we're going to do.
It doesn't help when the president and the administration don't believe in climate change.
No, this president is a disaster for the world. I've called it climate crimes against humanity, because in the face of people losing their lives in huge numbers, not only no response, but as we heard in the State of the Union, as your story just retold, presidents cheering on, going in exactly the wrong direction. But the public knows this all over the world. And that's why I'm finding in every capital that I visit now, not only a similar effort, but the resonance of what's happening in U.S. politics, giving hope around the world, not obviously from Trump, but from Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
Before we let you go, it's late in Brussels. David Malpass for the presidency of the World Bank. Several organisations have come out and said, look, you know, he may not be the most perfect choice, but he does know what he's doing, and he is a worthy choice to run the World Bank. You're shaking your head already. Haven't you even asked the question? Do you agree?
I just think it's hilarious. Here's the chief economist of Bear Stearns, which was one of the major triggers of the financial disaster of the world a decade ago. He knows what he's doing. Well, I'm not quite so convinced.
Good to see you, Jeffrey. When you're back home, please, there's a seat here waiting for you. Instead of talking